Hi and welcome to this short video where I'm going to talk to you about the Brexit and the potential impact on house pricing and also on property investing in general. So there's been a whole host of different projections about what will happen in the housing market should there be a Brexit, and they vary quite wildly. So I just want to give you my take on it. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't give you any personal guarantees. But having been in the property industry for over 20 years, having helped 20,000 people to get educated in the last 3 years and helped 1,000 people to buy their first or subsequent properties in the last decade, I'll give you my take on what I believe is going to happen over the coming couple of years and the coming 5 years and onwards. Okay. Now, just to give you some context with this, let's just understand what's happened over the last 5 or 10 years. So if I draw a very crude map on this chart, we've got a London market in the last 10 years that's up 80% on where it was. And generally house prices wash out. If you've watched my videos before, you'll understand this. House prices wash out. So outer metropolitan is up about 40%. Southeast is up about 38%. Down in southwest we're up about 30. The Midlands is generally up, maybe the East Midlands 13 or 14, West Midlands about 10, Yorkshire and Humberside about 8, and then up to Newcastle 6 to 8, and over here 6 to 8. And I'm just doing the English market at the moment. So if you're listening in Scotland or Ireland, forgive me, but you're kind of further up this chain, so you're probably 4 to 6%, for example. So now, what happens when the market is rising is the market rises first in London and then it washes out, okay, almost up the motorway network. So 2 or 3 years later, this starts to move. A year later or so, this starts to move. When prices fall, the same thing happens. They fall first in London, and then they fall here, and then they fall here, okay. So what's likely to happen now that we're in this current Brexit situation? Now, of course, the Brexit is causing uncertainty. It's making people feel uncertain about what will happen next. And when there's uncertainty, people generally pause. They freeze. You might be somebody, when you're uncertain, you tend to freeze and take stock before you make that next decision. So what do I think is likely to happen in the housing market as a result of that? Well, if I'm honest, I believe that we'll see some kind of drop, okay? But that drop is likely to hit London and the southeast first and the hardest, okay? And that drop is probably going to be somewhere around potentially the 10% mark. But when you understand the market's already up 80%, for it to drop about 10% or even 15% on where it would have been isn't that dramatic. And what the key thing that I said there is where it would have been, because I think it'll drop 10 to 15% on where it would have been. But if it was due to rise 10% in the next year anyway, a further 10%, then actually on where it would have been a year from now, 2 years from now, might only be a 5 to 8% drop. Most of the experts were actually predicting that we'd see prices here in the next 2 to 3 years in London, which were about £7,000 less than they would have been in 2 to 3 years. In Midlands and the North, the falls will not happen instantly, will wash out, and the Midlands and the North have some big rises that were due to come. We've got a real build-up in the supply and demand chain of demand. People haven't moved for a long time. People would like to start to get moving, and the market has been starting to get ready for that and starting to hot up a little bit. So Brexit will slow that down, but ultimately, if you were saying to me 3 years from now, what will it look like, then probably the prices might be £2,000 to £3,000 less than they would have been in 2 to 3 years' time, but still up. So they will be less than they would have been because of Brexit and because of the uncertainty. But because we've got this build-up of demand, then actually I think the market will still move in that positive direction. Now, in the next 6 months, there'll be some uncertainty though. In the next 12 to 18 months, potentially some uncertainty, probably some uncertainty. So as an investor, now is a great time to buy. Warren Buffett, arguably the best investor of our time, okay? Made a lot of money investing. He invests in uncertain times. When it's certain, everybody's investing in that thing, there's not big growth. But when it's uncertain, that's the time to buy. Now, property prices, if there is going to be a dip or a fall over the next 6 to 12 months, and you say, well, I'm going to wait till the bottom. I've heard that so many times. Back in 2007, so many times people said, well, I'm going to wait till I know it's hit the bottom before I buy. Well, how do you know when it's hit the bottom? Is that the bottom? Is that the bottom? Is that the bottom? Or do you know once it started going back up? And people who wait to buy at the bottom, unless they're absolute experts in economics, end up buying here, here, or here, or here. Or actually it's just their excuse for not getting in the game because fear is in control. So what I hope you do is take control of that fear. Get to understand the marketplace. Listen to this video that I'm putting out. Listen to other videos. But then make decisive decisions and act on them. Because people who act in uncertain times generally get the rewards. And right now is a great time to be acting to get those rewards. So whether I end up buying here, here, or here doesn't worry me if I'm in it for the long term. If you're trading property, if you're buying it today to sell it again tomorrow or sell it again in a few months, then you don't want to be buying in this marketplace. So if that's your strategy to buy and sell, you don't want to be buying here. But if your strategy is to buy and hold, and you're holding for 5 years plus, then for me, I'm going to be, which is my strategy, I'm going to be buying right now. It's not going to pause me from buying. In fact, I'm going to buy right now and push for bigger discounts because other people are uncertain. I'm going to push and use that as a negotiating tool to get myself bigger discounts on the properties that I am buying right now. Okay, so remember, you're going to see the markets falling in a variety of ways. You know, the sterling is suffering. We're down against the dollar. We're down against the euro. The FTSE is suffering. And if you take no action, you're going to end up suffering. If you take decisive action and say, well, actually, they're all falling a bit, they're all falling, but where am I going to get in? Which market am I backing? I'm going to get into that market and back that market. Then now is the time to be decisive instead of just sitting and letting these things damage you. Okay. So, overriding story is long term, 5 years from now. If that was the point we would have got to if there was no Brexit, if it was going to go like that, okay, what will happen in the meantime, in my opinion, is we'll end up at the same point. It may look like this, it may look like this, it may look like this, I don't know. And this drop could be 5%, 10% on what it would have been. Not 5 or 10% drop, I don't believe that will happen, but on what it will have been. If you look in the small print of all the scary things that the vote stay people were saying, it was compared to where it would have been that they were predicting again. So for me, 5 years from now, I believe supply and demand will mean we're back to where we would have been anyway. You know, we've still got first-time buyers that need to buy. We've still got investors that want to invest. We'll be back to where we would have been. We just will have seen it be a bit more rough along the way. But take advantage of that. Ensure you're buying with large discounts and act in a positive, confident way. Invest with knowledge. Invest with confidence. Create financial freedom. Thank you.